This is the CLAYTON Church of Christ. This is June the 27th, 2021. This is our morning Bible study. It is Sunday, and our particular topic for this particular morning will be God makes no distinction between the unsaved and the saints who live in sin. God makes no distinction between the unsaved and the saints who live in sin. And so what we want to do is to get our minds focused on what the Lord has in store for us as we get ready to hopefully discuss this topic in a way where we can all understand it and be able to glorify the Lord together. Now, we're going to start off with Deuteronomy chapter 7. And Deuteronomy 7, we're going to begin at verse number 1. And we will see how the Lord makes a clear line drawn between the sinners and the saints. But then he makes no line between how he looks if both are doing the same thing. So Deuteronomy 7 verse 1. When the Lord thy God shall bring thee into the land whither thou goest to possess it, and cast out many nations before thee, the Hittites, and the Girgashites, and the Amorites, and the Canaanites, and the Perizzites, and the Hivites, and the Jebusites. 7 nations greater and mightier than thou. And when the Lord thy God shall deliver them up before thee, thou shalt smite them and utterly destroy them. Thou shalt make no covenant with them, nor show mercy unto them. Neither shalt thou make marriages with them. Thy daughter thou shalt not give unto his son, nor his daughter shalt thou take unto thy son. For they will turn away thy son from following me, and they may serve other gods. So will the anger of the Lord be kindled against you, and to destroy thee suddenly. So right there he shows I'm going to punish you for worshiping other gods like I punished them. But thus shall you deal with them. You shall destroy their altars, and break down their images, cut down their groves, and burn down their graven images with fire. For thou art a holy people unto the Lord thy God. The Lord thy God hath chosen thee to be a special people unto himself above all the people that are upon the face of the earth. The Lord did not set his love upon you, nor choose you, because you were more in number than any other people, for you were the fewest of all people. But because the Lord loved you, and because he would keep the oath which he had sworn unto your fathers, hath the Lord brought you out with a mighty hand, and redeemed you out of the house of bondmen, from the hand of the Pharaoh king of Egypt. Know therefore that the Lord thy God, he is God, the faithful God, which keepeth covenant and mercy with them that love him and keep his commandments to 1,000 generations, and repayeth them that hate him to their face, to destroy them. He will not be slack to them that hate them. He will repay him to his face. And what does this mean? The Lord says, I'm letting you know up front, I'm going to pay you back, whether you're a saint or a sinner. So he's treating them just like he did the 7 nations he cast. I said, I'm going to pay to your face. I'm going to let you know in advance I'm coming to get you. And when I come to get you, you're going to know I paid you back. So he's making it clear, even though you're mine, I'm going to do you just like I did them. The 7 nations that were cast out, they knew God cast us out. And he accepted only his people. So he's telling them, you're mine, but I'm going to cast you out. So he says, thou therefore shalt keep the commandments and statutes and judgments which I command thee this day to do them. Wherefore it shall come to pass, if you hearken to these judgments and keep them and do them, that the Lord thy God shall keep unto thee the covenant and mercy which he sware unto your father. So he's saying you just got to keep it. I want to make clarification on what I was telling you, what I would do to my children in the previous lesson, by them wanting to come and serve me, bring me medicine, do something. Let me explain what I'm saying. I'm familiar with 1 Timothy 5, they are supposed to repay back. I understand that. But sometimes children use the opportunity to serve you, to commune with you. That's what remember, the argument is not to eat. Eat shows fellowship, communion. You love them, you approve of them. And they're saints gone bad. And so once you have exhausted the efforts to serve them, you will say, well, I use the opportunity for them to come around to tell them about the law, which is good, you're supposed to. But when you have children that do this, every time I come around there, y'all beat me up about not going to church. I just feel different than you all. And why do we have to discuss this? That's the one I'm talking about. You tell me, don't bring me no medicine, baby. If you don't want to hear about Jesus, don't bring me no medicine. Don't go shopping no more, because you don't want to hear about Jesus. I'd rather get in myself or do without. Now, if they're going to come and they're going to serve you like 1 Timothy 5, they remember that part you taught and do things. Let them cut your yard. Let them do everything. But they got to hear about Jesus. Because see, what they're doing is they're setting you up for failure. They're coming to commune with you, using that as a crutch. And they're actually bringing damage in your home. You don't realize it. Saints, sometimes you got to look at yourself and say, we're suffering too much. You know that Israel should have realized, man, we've been hitting this circle for 40 years and nobody acting right. What's wrong with us? You got to reach a point where you go like, man, is this person causing me to suffer? We come in, we eat biscuits together. They tell me about their lover and they're gay. You eating biscuits, but they bring me medicine, but they don't bring their lover here, but they gay. They done told you they gay. You got to go some point, man, and they get, as soon as you sit talk about the Jesus, well, this is where I exit. So next time, I'll get the medicine from the neighbor, thank you. Because you don't want to hear about Jesus. So stay home. Because, see, they're challenging you. Amen. Now, I'm telling you, I love you. But you got to remember, listen, God lets things happen for a purpose. So if you got grandkids, make sure, because I know y'all do this, that you tell the child, that grandchild, did you go to church? And let the baby hear it. Did mama take you to church? See, that grandchild may stop the visitation. See, you got to watch your children, brethren. See, because they don't want to hear about Jesus. But that's exactly why God casts out other nations from the blessings of the life that we live. The spiritual blessing. So you got to just ask us, the bigger they get. So baby, what church y'all go? When we go to Mount Hebron Baptist Church, you look at your child, you still doing that? You still doing that? Now next time they go, I wonder, could you watch them this weekend? This is a good time to go. I would, but since you're going to Mount Hebron, why don't you get them to watch your baby? They said, why would you do that? I still want to see the grandchild, but you got to get the point, because you don't want me talking about it. You don't want them to go to church with me. What's the problem here? See, sometimes God lets situations happen where you end up having your grandkids. God wants them to learn about Jesus. But you still can't forget the big one that's taller than you. So if you're going back to church, you ask it every time, and I'm going to ask you every time you come in the door. You came in a gold Cadillac, and a dude opened the door when you got out. Amen. But are you taking a gold Cadillac to the Church of Christ? I don't know. If that one not sound, you come where we worship. You worshiping somewhere over there we may be. Why is that? Because, brethren, you have to work on them. You can't commune with them if you're not going to tell them about the Lord. Paul is not saying keep them away and don't tell them about Jesus. He's saying if it's a brother or sister, you're showing communion with them. But the key is, if you tell them about Jesus, they're going to stop coming around or they're going to fix it. I'm telling you, a sinner cannot tarry in the presence of the Lord. When they come to your house, it should be Jesus opening the door. Hey, come on, your mama's sitting in there. Come on inside. How you doing? It should be Jesus opening the door. They ought to hear so much about Jesus. If they bring their boyfriend, now I'm talking about heterosexual, bring their boyfriend. He said, I have a problem with every time I come by, your dad will say something. Then you may not want to come by no more. Because they may tell you, he said he will come by, but you talk about Jesus. Well, I guess he's not coming by then, is he? He says, look at, see, you got a reason why, because souls are at stake. Now, here's where our problem comes. Now, I've said this, and I'm just telling you, I'm a realist. Somebody becomes homosexual. So, okay, you know, you come into the house, we're going to talk about Jesus. We're going to talk about Jesus. That's going to be the first thing we talk about, you know. How you doing, Bob? You know, so have y'all found a church that y'all can go to and learn some more about the Bible? You think he's going to keep coming out? Now, when the one come by themselves, whether it's girl or female, say, are you still homosexual? You got to live real, brother. Well, you know, I want to talk about that, but before you come in and bring me this bottle of medicine, I want to know if you're still homosexual. Because I can get this bottle of medicine from somebody else. I know you want to serve me, but you can't come in and bring the medicine if you're not going to hear about Jesus. Well, I guess I want to bring the medicine. I guess you won't. Now you get 2 curses. You know what I'm saying? And you're not serving your family. See, you got to know how to swing it right, brother. It has to be that way. Because if it doesn't be that way, Ezekiel comes into play and the Lord says, now I got to punish you because you're guilty of their blood. I've had to tell my family, all including us in the house, before, look, if we can't talk about Jesus when you come by here, then maybe you don't want to come by no more. And don't bring your husband either. None of y'all come by. It was a bitter conversation. Just like I had with my mother before she died when I told her she need to get back. He said, you sitting at the dinner table? It was dark just like that. I said, well, that may be the case then. Maybe we won't come by no more. I'm done. See, I've lived with our parents because they're dead now. I've lived with our children because I was married to my wife before they were born. I've lived without my wife because I didn't know her and she's still without me. You can live without anybody as long as you have Jesus. Amen. See, that's the key. Don't, the young sister said this morning about her grandma, Sister Carr. The statement her and Anthony told me when they first got here. Salvation is personal. Your relationship with Christ is personal. They told us that for a reason. It's between you and Christ, not you, Christ, it's only you and Jesus. And then on the other side is them and Jesus, if they want to be with Jesus. You have to use the tools around you. Sometimes God will break your children down where they got to come around you. They can't pay their rent that month. And you got a pocket full of money. You don't have to tell them a pocket full. Before you hand them the money, so have you ever thought maybe you can't pay your rent because you're living with a man and you a woman? Or you living with a woman and you a man, y'all not married? Have you ever thought you can't pay your rent because maybe you should have got the divorce by now? Right? You can't be married and single, brethren. I've known people to take double-digit years to get a divorce. Sometimes you have to ask, are you actually divorced? And they clear throat, well, just don't even ask. No, I know the answer's no. Because you got to file for the divorce. The separation, and now you're single. You can date, eat chicken with them, can't have sex though, till you get married. Everybody needs to know where you stand because eyes are on you in heaven and on the earth. But the main thing is they're coming into your heart. The scriptures, I want to read one more time so we understand. Because see, God's going to say, I'm going to punish you like I punished the heathen. The punishment is the same. Some get, and you know the sad part, we look at 2 John. The sad part is that the Lord said the saint gets a worse whipping in hell. Isn't that amazing? The Lord tears us up in hell because we know too much. He said, but him that, just didn't listen, he gets a different amount of whipping, but it's still bad. So 2nd Epistle of John, verse 9, he says here, whosoever transgresseth and abideth not in the doctrine of Christ. What does abide mean? To stay. Hath not God. He that abideth in the doctrine of Christ, he hath both the Father and Son. He says, if there come any unto you and bring not this doctrine, receive him not into your house. That's a literal house. Neither bid him Godspeed. For he that bid him Godspeed is partaker of his evil deed. So this is always an awkward subject because you have many saints who don't have parents or members of the church. That's all right. But when you got parents or members of the church that's not walking right, that becomes different. You'd be surprised how many old saints have boyfriends that come by and they're 50, 60, 70, 80. 80-year-old people have sex, and they will have a boyfriend come by at night, and everybody hair is gray or bald, and they come in, and you'll see them leaving the next day. I'm telling you what I know. And they'll leave. They have had sex that night. And some people notice about their parents. And they're not saying, yeah, you need medicine, I'm coming. But they have these family dinner, but everybody, that grandma there, yeah, but grandma, no, you got a boyfriend. I don't know what's wrong with her. I don't know what's wrong with her. And sometimes grandparents will act crazy with you. Now, baby, now listen now, I might be old, but I can ask for the Lord to punish you. Not when you ain't telling your own daughter stop having sex and she not married. God not even listening to you, grandma. Child, I never thought you'd rise up. I'm not disrespecting you. I'm trying to save your soul. Old people go to hell too, grandma. You know why we can't do that? Because we smoking weed and getting high too. And we 25. That's why we can't tell 85-year-old grandmama to tell 55-year-old mama nothing. Now listen. God don't have a problem with putting women in hell, or men, or children, or babies in the womb, or rich or poor, black or white, and any other race, or saints or sinners. And that's what we're trying to discuss in the lesson. Brethren, listen. I tried to tell my grandmother before she died about the kingdom of God, and her mind had become senile, but I heard things about her before that happened. So, hey, I know she heard about the gospel before I got baptized. Somebody told her. So it wasn't for me. So, okay, no problem. But he who has an ear can hear. They need to hear. You have to tell them. You have to understand that. And so, does God consider us all related to the Jews spiritually? The Christians? Yes. All nations are blessed through Abraham. Look at Genesis 18. Now, I want to prove this same statement he said to them will apply to Christians today. Genesis 18 and 18. See, because we got, one of the things we need to understand is that if you are a saint and married to a saint that's not going to church, your task is awesome, man. You got trouble because you eating with them. Just because you married don't mean that you get to eat with your spouse and they not going to church. I don't know how we missed this. It don't matter if he's a man. He needs, every day he come from work, he needs to expect at some point, one of those days, he going to hear, baby, you going to go to church with us Sunday? No, I done told you I'm a good man. He going to go through his list of holiness. And when he gets through and put a period, just sit patient, drink your tea, he'll call and say, you done? Say, I just want to know, you going to go to church with us Sunday? My wife used to tell me that when I wasn't going to church. You going to go to church? Baby, going to church? And I knew at one of them points, that message was going to turn on me, sour. So eventually I went back to church. Nobody going to keep playing with you. I knew she could leave me because I wasn't going to church. I knew that. I used to teach Bible class. I know. See, some of y'all don't understand, brother. Y'all don't understand what God means. 1 Corinthians 7. We really need to look at that. It's no peace there. Don't no woman that's of God want no man that's not faithful. She don't want him. Don't get confused with 1 Peter 3. That person can't be one with the word. Show the lifestyle. Because people that don't go to church, they don't act right. I wasn't acting right. Every now and then I say stuff stupid then. You're not going to not go to church and be right. As a saint, no. You're going to be doing something vile. I was even doing vile things behind closed doors. Vile. You can't keep it together. The Holy Ghost not in you no more. You got a vacant house. And people get tired of being talked to stupid and crazy things said. Because you're no longer righteous. They will leave you. You better read 1 Corinthians 7. They're not in agreement. They're not in agreement. So now when stuff happens, they go like, you cussing, acting crazy. That's why you need, if you come to church, you might would stop that. Throwing stuff down, breaking stuff. Won't you come back to church? They'll go tell you what to do. My mama live at such and such. Nobody want to hear where your mama live. You need to go to church. Go to church. And when you get left, the Lord gonna look at you. You know the Lord gonna say, I left you. I was wondering why they were still with you. You need to read 1 Corinthians 7. People need to be faithful in the church. Go to church. And act right when you go to church. I don't know what it is with going to church. I do know what it is. I know why I didn't want to go. Because I didn't want to act right. I don't want to stand in the presence of the Lord. I hate that happened in my life, but I'm glad I got to see it to know when people lie to me. Now, I'll tell you, I used to be in your shoes. I have to go tell people my whole story. Sit down, let me talk to you. I used to have my wife and them go to church. I would stay home. I thought I had done something. I came back to my family. I'm a man's man. I'm a holy man. But not going working on Sunday. You can't be there on Sunday. Okay, I got you. I'll be there. Yeah, because I'm not going to church. I used to drive home from work on Sunday, and I would have that feeling of damnation knowing, dude, you should have went to church today. You have to work the night shift. Why don't you go tonight? You can still go. Wrestling him, I said, you can still go to church? At least I'm back with my family. So holy. I was on my way to hell. And I could tell my wife was getting tired of it. You know, getting weary. Little girl seeing you, Sheena, Daddy don't go to church. You know, people get tired of you, man. Go to church. And then be a Christian. Because he's going to show, Abraham is going to show us, you know, you're not going to be like me and get these blessings as an heir and you're not living it. I used to talk about saints too. It's a whole bunch of them that sinning too, yeah. I tell my wife that, yes, I know they like, oh, what a heathen. Everybody likes to do that. What a backstabbing heathen. Talking about righteous people. At least they at church. I'm sitting there watching movie. Yeah, what's coming on watching movie? And that's sad. Getting up every day, driving in traffic, going to work. No death coming. Making good money too. Making good living. Good. Good money. Nice cars. On my way to hell. You know what I mean? Talking about saints too. They can't talk about me. I know they like. But I guarantee you, I would have went to hell and they wouldn't have. Because they were trying to go to church to get their life together. I wasn't. It don't work like that, Brad. I'm telling you, it's not going to work like that. I done excuse myself, and I will not allow the saints to go to hell thinking it's okay not to worship God. It's not. Genesis 18:18, he said, seeing that Abraham shall surely be a great and mighty nation, and all the nations of the earth shall be blessed in him. He said, shall I hide from Abraham, verse 17, the thing which I do? God won't hide stuff from you if you're righteous. He said, nah, I'm going to have the angels say, I got to go on. Now, angels are making decisions. See, they're there representing God, but angels think. They're not stupid. So they talk to each other. They say, you know, are we going to hide? What are we going to do? Because, you know, he's going to be over like an example of all nations. So they like, no, we're going to have to tell. God lets angels think also. Now, they know they're going down now. But Abraham pulls them aside. They eat with them because they're in men's flesh. And so they go like, well, we better tell him. You know, we're going to go down and destroy this area. Because he got locked down there, so he reacts to it. God not going to let your family go to hell before he hit them, but I'm telling you. God going to let you see what your family into. You're going to accidentally walk by the door in here. Yeah, we're going to get that fool. I got a clock. What? And now it's time to listen. Yeah, we're going to catch them. And you catch them. When they come out, you can't say, oh, I heard you're going to get somebody. You know, hey, you need to stay out of this. That's when it's time to grab throats with the fingers. If you can't get them out regularly, say, but if it's like that, just don't come back tonight, you know. I'll have your stuff packed. It'll be in the yard, you know. Now, there's two things going to happen now. Either I'm going to call the police or my hand going to become the police. You know, an old woman with skinny arms will knock you out by the power of the Lord with one hit. They'll have to wake you up and tell you, you hit your head on the coffee table after grandma popped you in your mouth. They say you got a concussion. You don't even know your name no more. God know how to handle you. So now you're not going to get no gun and get in there with nobody and stay in his house. So you have to understand. So God will let you hear. Now if you're going to be over a great nation, It's time to start praying and doing something. So God, servant Abraham, asked for hope for Lot. And so he sent some help to Lot. And they had to hurry and get Lot out of there. But what he had to be destroyed. And he lost some people in it. Son-in-laws and some daughters. Sometimes your family will lose their own children that you've told righteousness to get them out of sin. Their husband may get killed. Their wife may get killed to get them out of sin. God may have to let their wife get killed in a wreck. You done told them about their life, and then now they got nothing. Now they got to call you for help. So don't try to guess at what happened, but if it happens, well, one thing we know, they called me. I hadn't talked to them in 2 years. And they called me, he's dead, he's dead. What? Who is this? It's your daughter. Or maybe if you call me, I know your voice. He's dead, he got killed in a wreck. Now they got to come over. See? You have to tell your family something. So listen, God wasn't going to save them anyway. And now he may be trying to reach your child. This is about Lot. It's like a child Abraham. Because daddy dead, Lot has been raised and helped and guided by Abraham. So this is where it's at. Look at chapter 22, verse 18. More Bible. And in thy seed shall all the nations of the earth be blessed, because thou hast obeyed my voice. So tells Abraham again, all the nations of the earth, all the nations. Israel is only one nation that's going to be blessed. There's only one nation going to be blessed through Abraham. They're the first, though. Look at Deuteronomy 29. They're the first. So he's going to give them a warning. Deuteronomy 29 and verse number 9. Keep therefore the words of this covenant and do them, that you may prosper in all that you should do. Yet ye stand this day before the Lord your God, your captains, your tribes, your elders, your officers with all the men of Israel, your little ones, your wives, the stranger that is in the camp, from the hew of thy wood unto the draw of thy water. He said, everybody here, your servants, the people that work for you, the people who sell you McDonald's burger, I just say they there too. That thou shouldest enter into a covenant with the Lord thy God, and into his oath, which the Lord thy God make it with thee this day. You got some good money in your house. You got a lady come clean your house. She coming out with a dress too high. And you say, you know, when you come clean, please don't dress like that. Your chest out, I can see your underwear. Don't dress like that, please. Or don't come back. I'll get somebody else to clean it. Just like that. Because the lady say, I want you to tell them they're servants. They carry wood. The man cutting your grass cussing so bad, you say, hey, come here for me. And hey, can you stop all that cussing while you cut my yard when you're talking to them? Do you mind? Because I can get somebody else to cut my yard. I'm sorry, okay. Because the law say they're servants, they're right. I want them to act right. They work for you, but I don't want them acting crazy. I want them acting crazy. You have to understand, this is what he's saying. He said, everybody come in. He said, I want you to bring them. I want them to hear this. He says, there's a reason, verse 13, that he may establish to thee for a people unto himself, that they may be unto thee a God. He must be your God. He has said unto thee, as he has sworn unto thy fathers, Abraham, Isaac, and Jacob. Neither with you only do I make this covenant, oath, but with him that standing here with us this day before the Lord our God, and also with him that is not here with us this day. So he says the people that's not here, people that didn't come this day, you better tell them what I said. The people that's going to be born later, let them know, each generation. For you know how we have dwelt in the land of Egypt, and how we came through the nation which you passed by. And you have seen the abominations, their idols, wood, stone, silver, gold, which were among you. Lest there should be any among you, man or woman, or family or tribe, whose heart turneth away this day from the Lord our God, to go and serve the gods of these nations. Lest there should be among you a root that beareth gall and wormwood. And it shall come to pass, when he heareth the words of this curse, that he bless himself in his heart, saying, he's going to bless himself. I shall have peace, though I walk in the imagination of my heart, to add drunkenness to thirst. So he said, so there's a person that says, it's going to be all right with me. God is with me. Y'all have family do that? especially unrooted children. I know the Lord blesses me. I got a good job. I know the Lord blesses me. He said, this is the one I want you to talk to, because he think I'm going to bless him, even though he living crooked. He said, I want you to tell him. And the Lord shall separate unto him evil out of all the tribes of Israel, according to all the curses of the covenant that are in this book. He said, so I'm going to let it drop on him. That's talking crazy, but I'm going to live like I want, because the Lord is with me. You can't judge me. You can judge them. So he says, tell them I'm going to drop the curse on you. Y'all gonna let your family know the Lord going to drop a curse on you. You know that, right? You know, I'll tell you, I've had my family call me. I've had them call me. Serious. I've had them call me and say, since I answered the phone, it was funny. Did y'all put a curse on me? I promise. I almost dropped the phone laughing. I said, what? I knew something went down. Because things just happened bad. I want to know that y'all wish bad on me. I say, no, but the Lord may be punishing you because you don't come to church. That might be what's happening. So that the generation that come to your children that shall rise up after you, and the stranger that shall come from a far land shall say, when they see the plagues of the land and the sickness which the Lord had laid upon it, say, when they see you going down, and that made the whole land thereof in brimstone, salt burning, that is not sown, neither bare any grass groweth therein, like the overthrow of Sodom and Gomorrah, Amdah and Zeboim, which the Lord overthrew in his anger and in his wrath. Even all that shall say. So the other people, your neighbor's going to come by and look at your life tore from the floor up. Your neighbors, because I'm going to link this to us, will say, wherefore the Lord done this to the land? What meaneth the heat of his great anger? They look at your life start to get ravaged spiritually, not maybe necessarily physically. They see you coming in drunk at 3 in the morning. I remember one day I got out of my car at 3 in the morning, and I closed the door and I stumbled. I said, oh man, I don't know about that. I'm drunk. I just came from work, man. I just tripped, you know. You see you drunk though, Father, singing all crazy. And then looking at, man, his life is, man, this wife, he came in by herself. Well, she left last month. What? Yeah, he's a drunk now. She left because he running women. And now what they going to say, the men shall say, because they have forsaken the covenant of the Lord, God their Father. He left the Lord. You remember he used to go to church. He don't go to church no more. You remember he was cutting his yard Sunday morning? And then he was out there drinking a beer Sunday night. So he didn't go to morning. They watching you. He used to invite us to church. Now he don't go. Boy, I wonder why his wife can say, no, she left him 3 months ago. What? Yeah. Oh, yeah, I saw one. That's not his wife. That's his girlfriend. She already in the house? Yeah. And then now, police cars come out there, wild whip antenna, police cars all out there, speakers all out, 65 car 1910. What's going on over there? She bust his windshield. The girlfriend bust his windshield. That's all. And you know they're going to say, well, he left his God. They're going to talk about you. He left his God. Brought them forth out of the land of Egypt. For they went and served other gods, worshiped them, served gods, and they knew not whom they had not given unto them. You know, Sister Carr said something to me. It was so funny. At a joyful gathering at Kennedy's celebration. Sister Carr looked at me, and it was at the church show when we were doing this. Sister Carr looked at me and she said, you know, some people are legends in their own mind. I just laughed. I shouted another saying. I just, you know, a saying. Some people are legend in their mind, you know. Man, they look good. They stand good. Nice cars, thick rubber. They look good. People know them. Yeah, they sound. But you're a legend in your mind. But at the end, you don't realize you're on a slippery slope. You're going down. The psalmist already told us. And everybody know it but you. But you're a legend. It's like the sun shining and angels are singing in your mind. But that's not the reality. We're still going to love you. We're going to pray for you. But we don't have to commune. See, the problem is the communing. Paul wants of the communing. Be careful of the communing. That's the idea. Somebody may see you eat with them. So what I would say, you know what happened is they came and picked me up because I had a flat. They saw me on the street. And they wanted to buy me lunch. And we were actually talking about when they're going back to church. You don't have to explain it to nobody. Nobody going to be telling you, hey, you eat with sinners. No, they did things like that. We know. But we're just telling you, know what you're doing while you're eating with them. Know what's going on. Know what's going on. Be aware of what's happening. So he says here, as Moses writes, verse 7, the anger of the Lord was kindled against this land to bring upon it the curses that are written in this book. Now the heathen is saying that. He's saying, well, and see, I'll tell you something about the world. Let me share something with you. The very people speaking well of you at conventions, they'll be talking about you over steak dinners. I know what y'all heard about what happened. Cutting that steak. What happened? Yeah, he went to jail. What? Yeah. And somebody going to go, not him. Is he? Yeah, well, the Lord punishing him. You know he was fooling around on his wife. What? See, they talking about you at dinner. Your boys, your girls, talking about you because they remember you telling them about the Bible. No, it's following. They talking about you now. But we plan on going and seeing him. Yeah, we're going to get together. Your old alpha group, they're going to see you. You used to go to college with. They're going to all see you and talk to you through the glass ball. Hey, Fasa, you in jail now. Yeah, they might even sing the song y'all used to sing from the Greek group. Yeah, talking you through, but they going to go and they call home. You don't have no call no more. You in jail. Be careful. They will talk about you. Well, you know, I will say, I did tell him he did need to go back to church. I know I don't go. They be laughing at him. I know, but I did tell him he need to go back to church. Because his God requires him to do so. His God requires him to do so. And the Lord rooted them out of their land in anger. The Gentile is saying this, not the righteous. He's talking about you. And in his wrath and great indignation, and cast them in another land, as it is today. The Gentile. So the Gentile looks and says, how come there's no more Jews on the north side of Israel? You know, they got dug out because they wouldn't worship God, right? What? You know, I heard that about it. Yeah, because they're supposed to go to church with the 2 times, no, 3 times, 3 times a year. They wasn't doing that. Okay. Wow. So you mean none of the people do? No, man, that's Serapis, all other kind of folk over there. What? That's just like saying, no, they don't even, no, that building, it's Baptist and Methodist in there now. Really? Yeah, man, the Lord took that building from them. They was in there sounding like instruments. What? Yeah, he punished them. They don't even have a building like that no more. They go to denomination church too, but the building the Lord gave it to the Baptist church. Really? They're going to be talking about you. Eating dinner. Now, the Lord said they're going to be talking about it. And the Lord don't lie. Be careful. Don't become a byword. Nevertheless, how are we connected to this group? Let's go to 1 Corinthians chapter 10. Let's see if we connect this group. 1 Corinthians chapter 10. Now remember, we're the nation blessed like Abraham. 1 Corinthians chapter 10, verse number 1. Moreover, brethren, I would not that you should be ignorant, how that all our fathers, Corinthians are not Jews, were under the cloud and passed through the sea. See, we're connected to them spiritually now. They're our spiritual forefather. And were baptized under Moses and cloud in the sea, and did all eat the same spiritual meat, and did all drink the same spiritual drink, for they drank of that spiritual rock that followed them, and that rock was Christ. Okay, that's how we're connected. Now we're drinking from the spiritual rock, Christ now. How? We received him in baptism. We drank him in. 1 Corinthians 12:13. For by one spirit are we all baptized into one body. That's a church. Colossians 1:18. Well, the Jew and Gentile, bond of friend, have all been made to drink into one spirit. So we're drinking in Christ in baptism. We drink him in the word when we read it. But with many of them was God not well pleased, for they were overthrown in the wilderness. Now remember, this is the saints. This is the saints. Now these things were our example, so the intent we should not lust after evil things as they also lusted. Neither be you idolaters. Some people in the Church of Christ love T.D. Jakes. They love the bishop. They love his books, you know, reposition yourself. They're making good money. You got some saints that live good. I'm serious. I'm not jealous. Let me tell you something. When I see a man living good, saint or sinner, when it enters my mind, I say, man, thank you, God, for blessing him. I look at her and say, man, it's a beautiful house. Thank you, God. But I'm glad they got it. I'm not mad. I'm happy. And if they're a saint, even more so. Some saints have a watch that costs more than your car. I'm serious. And that's just one of the watches. Amen. I'm glad. The problem is they're idolaters, you know. They mad because somebody in their family did a sin and they mad. They don't want to go to church of Christ because somebody in their family sinned. They don't realize that person asked the Lord to forgive them and they're going to make it to heaven. But they still not going because they don't worship the Lord properly. It's ridiculous, you know. I know some good people that's not been to church. Cornelius was one. I know one too. But he got baptized. That's the difference. Some of them, as it written, the people sat down and eat, drink, and rose to play. Man, they had a party and they worshiped false God. Aaron led the way. Aaron told them to bring me your earrings so I'll make you a God. Moses came back and said, Aaron, what did they tell you? You know, that'd be like one of y'all righteous. and I see y'all standing by TD Jakes, you know, stand up there, now y'all, and then you say, now we're going to bring some so-and-so to preach. Oh, you know what? If I saw one of you sisters preaching at the potter's house, all I could do is come just like Aaron and tell you, what did they tell you, sister? What did they tell you to make you think that was okay? That's all I could tell you. He says, neither let us commit fornication, as some of them committed and fell in one day 320,000. Now watch this now. So you got idolatry, but then you got real fornication. Saints got loose. Saints got loose, started having sex. Saints got loose. Now listen. Jacob's boys were wrong for killing those people. But they knew one thing. They were like, at that point in their walk, they were like, this dude shouldn't be sleeping with our sister like that. Even crooks know righteousness. They're the saints. They know stuff wrong, but they went far off left to handle the problem. The problem is, brother, you have to tell, you know, I'm going to tell y'all something, saints, and we're going to wrap this up real quick. Unless somebody has a comment. Brethren, sex before marriage is like, if you're not doing that, something's wrong with you. I'm going to call out the world. Smokey Robinson sung a song. And he said, can you love a virgin man? And it was funny because I was a sinner at the time. And at the time I heard I was actually a virgin. You can believe that. And I was like, yeah, man, women don't like guys like us. Because I was a teenager then, you know. But I was laughing at the song when I got older. I said, he's right. He love her because women don't like virgin men. You know, he don't know nothing. He don't know nothing. Oh, crazy, silly woman. You'd be blessed to get a virgin man. You know, okay, we're stuck a nerve in William. Come on, William, help us out here. Help us out, William. Come on.
That brother be preaching. That brother be preaching. That's good. That, you know, people need to hear this type of stuff. But like you say, you're right about that. You know, women, like you say, they want to say, I want to experience man.
Experience man can teach me
something. Yeah, it can teach me something. You know. But I had forgotten my thought. I was something I wanted to say, but God, I guess the Lord probably didn't want me to say it, but.
That's all right. It'll come back to you. We got a few more minutes. It'll come back to you.
But you're right about that. You know, we were raised in this world to, even with the parents.
Yeah.
I'm going to have to buy you some packages.
Yeah.
You know, you might get somebody pregnant.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying? Instead of telling us no. Don't do it. Don't do it. But here they is, and even schools, they're giving out packages to teenagers. So what it is, it's not like you telling me to do it, but like how can I say it? It's not like a temp thing, but you're still actually putting it within their minds.
Yeah, for protection.
Protection.
Yeah.
Well, I'm gonna use it for protection. But you know, it's like this now. You hear AIDS back in the day. Now you don't hear nothing too much. You don't really hear too much about AIDS. You know. But in reality, when you look at the whole aspect of things, that like when you say when it comes to shacking and stuff, and you have any different guys come over and you shacking, kids look at that.
Yes.
You know, and then it's like this. The Bible says everything. I mean, it teaches us how to live and how to be, you know, as Christians. But this is an instruction for us to live. This is a roadmap to heaven.
Yeah.
And I was thinking about that the other day. I said, the Bible is here for us to correct us and to guide us and lead us in the way we ought to be led as being a Christian. But you got some people that twist the words.
Yeah.
But it was something I wanted to say, man. It was heavy on my mind, but for some reason it slipped my mind. I'm like, wow, I can't believe it slipped it. But it's something that I want to say about. It was something you just said about the virgin, about being a virgin.
Hey,
It's
now,
like
a lot of guys want a virgin, but the women, they don't.
yeah, they don't want a virgin.
Yeah.
But and even when I was growing up, that's what they said. I need an experienced man. Experienced man. But a real man, very experienced in the bed and stuff. I don't need no virgin. But it was something that made sense that people would understand what I was about to say, but I forgot it. But it'll come back to me.
Yeah, we got a few more minutes, and when they do, just raise your hand, because we may need to hear it, brother. But the key is, brethren, is that you have to tell your family, that we don't do that. And this is a common thing. It's a common thing to have sex before marriage. It's just, if you don't, something's wrong with you, people teach. Something's wrong with you. You got it, bro? Okay. All right. Praise God.
Bro. Okay, now this is what we hear in the world. A woman will say, or a man will say, well, I got to experience it before I married a woman. Because you might get into a marriage where y'all get married and have sex, and you might not like it. So what does that say? And people got to understand is that and that's the world. That's how we think. And that's the world how we think. So it's like, wow, why would you want to experience it when it says don't have sex before marriage?
Because I'm carnal.
Yeah. And that's the way it works. That's the way it works. But once you, like you say, but even though you're still Christians, you still have Christians that still step aside and do it, And they say, well, I was tempted or something, I got to, but it's like this. It's like this. We have to abstain, but like you said, we have to get married, but we can't commit fornication if we don't, like, say being single, man and woman. Man and woman, you meet a person. Sometimes people marry just because of sex.
Yes.
You know what I'm saying? They marry just because of sex. They meet this person. Oh, I'm hot. So let's get married. They might marry 2 or 3 months. You know what I'm saying? But I'm not judging nobody. If they get married that's them. But you have to understand, why are you getting married? You know what I'm saying? Don't just marry because of sex. But some people have married within a month and they've been together 50 years. You know what I'm saying? It just depends on the person's mindset.
Exactly.
But that's what you hear in the world today, is that, well, I have to experience it first. Yeah. Why would you want to experience first? And then you end up catching something, then you can't marry that person no more. And it happens like that. You end up catching AIDS. Yeah. You know what I'm saying? Yeah. So it's like this. Even when it comes to sex and you try to get involved in a person, you know what I'm saying? The love has to be there. You can't just talk to a person at the club or meet a person at the store, at the gym, and all of a sudden you have 2 weeks and I love him. No, you don't love him that quick. I'm not to say that but how can you do that and have feelings for a person? You have to have feelings for a person to have, but how can you love a person that quick? You know what I'm saying?
Some can.
Yeah.
The person who gets married and doesn't stay married, they did love me.
Mm-hmm. But
you have to make sure.
You have to make sure. That's why I say when it comes to relationships, you have to how can I say, reprogram your mind into being with this person. Say, okay, I want to be with this person the rest of my life, but I'm not sure. But now I have to do more investigation, because see, some people jump into a relationship and they don't even know anything about this person. Yeah. You know what I'm saying?
Right.
And that's what I tell them. I say, sometimes you have to investigate before you really jump into a relationship, because some people meet people, within a month's time they're in the bed. Yeah. You know what I'm saying? So you have to realize everything, it goes into a circle. When you meet someone, you be their friend first. Mm-hmm. Okay. And then later on, if you have feelings for that person, and then you acknowledge that I have feelings for you, I think we should build a relationship with each other. You know what I'm saying? But I want to get to know you more. I just met you. It's been known to get 4 or 5 months, but I want to get to know you more before we step into, other things. And I do want to, but then that other person has to be in agreement with you, have to have the feeling, to want to be with you as well.
Exactly.
You know what I'm saying? But like I said, you have to let everything fall into place.
Yeah.
You can't just rush things.
Right.
But when things fall into place, it falls into place. Now, who may say it might happen sooner? It's just the timing.
Yeah.
But people have to understand is that sex is not all about being married. You know what I'm saying? Because some women, well, I ain't saying, majority of women sometimes say sex is not all that I need. I need something like when it comes to man confronting a woman, it's like holding her hand in the mall and showing affection, and you know what I'm saying. It's not about working, trying to make big money, and because I'm saying people spend more time at their job than do with their wife or their family.
Yeah.
So you have to take time out and say, hey, I need to put this to the side. I need to spend more time with my wife, or the wife say I need to spend more time with my husband. Because it's the affection that they need as a woman. Because, women are very affectionate.
Yeah.
It don't have to be sex all the time. It can be holding hands, cutting up, eating popcorn, watching cabinet show or something like that, laughing, stuff like that.
Exactly.
But, but I need to bring a lesson on marriage, on different things about that. And that's how it should. That's how it should be. Yeah. And that's how a Christian man should. It's all about comforting each other.
Yeah.
And that's what the world don't know, is how to be affectionate and comforting.
Amen. Well said, brother. God bless. This is beautiful. Coming right to you, Kevin. This is beautiful, and God bless you all for staying to hear this, because we need this. But I want to explain to you, brothers. The brother said, you have to meet your spouse's needs. Just remember that. Your spouse. We read a lot of books. Solomon said a lot of books been written. But your spouse may not like none of that stuff. But what your spouse tells you they like, you got to meet that. That's what you got to meet. Whatever they say. And reason why, that's how you get a divorce. See, because you want to read what somebody else, even what Abraham and Sarah had, you're not married to Sarah or Abraham. It's what your spouse likes. And that's the key. Your spouse, your wife may have so much money, you can work at Burger King for 3 hours a day, and that's it. She got everything paid. But the problem is, can you meet her needs? And when people get saying, I want to know what he's like in bed before I marry him, that's the person who your marriage is not going to work. We can pretty well, if you don't make some adjustments along that journey, your marriage is going to be over, because you don't understand, they may be the best lover God has ever made. And that's all they can do. Past that, they're useless. And so you still lose in the deal. So that's why sex is a benefit for married people, not for singles. And if you're having it and you're single, look for disaster. It may not hit you till after you get married, but disaster's coming. So if you can go through that disaster with the help of the Lord, then, okay, now you learn, because he's going to whoop you. He's going to whoop you. And he's going to really beat you if you're not a saint. But if you're a saint and you start living that way, he's going to give you a worse whipping. And it may come after you get married. Why? Because you're not listening. You see somebody you want, okay, if you can't contain, you need to marry them. It's just what it is. Because I'm telling you, if you're having sex and keep bumping around people, your life may never get right. It just may never get right. I'm sorry to tell you. Because you don't see God saying, I fix all lives after, and there's no loss. That is collateral damage. David told us there was major collateral damage in my life. I had a momentary fling with this woman, and I suffered throughout. You got to watch this stuff. But just because David couldn't get it fixed don't mean you can't. So you do the opposite of what David did. Brother Kevin, and then Brother Frias.
Okay. Yeah, I was listening to comments that Brother Craig was making, about how the people in the world, they have their view on, what love is and how they define love and relationships. That's really the world's view. I want to experience a man and all of these things of that nature. But they have their own terminology, how they look at love, how they view love. You know, they may want to go and experience a man, you know, sexually, but what they fail to realize that when they experience a man and doing, you know, their own thing, they're going to experience eternal damnation as well, you know, and they're going to experience hell. And you know, they have to realize that hell is real and it's hot and it's everlasting. And so, you know, this is not a game, you know, because the thing with women is that they have emotions. Women are very emotional creatures, and you know, if you're gonna be with a person, you're gonna be serious about them, then man up and just, you know, own up to your responsibility as a man. If you're gonna be responsible, be accountable, love that person, but don't say something you're not gonna own up to the one to do. If you're gonna be with the person, then you go ahead and be with that person. You know, let your actions be able to support your words as well. You know, not just a matter of just talking and trying to woo the person in, or if you're trying to get them in the bedroom and things of that nature. Because this is a thing that we as Christians don't want to do. We don't want to be like those in the world, because they're doing those things, and that's how a lot of these women, you know, get pregnant. Is because those words are so soothing, and a lot of these women are listening to what's being said to them, and a lot of times, you know, men can tell them things but not really mean what they're saying to them. You know, they say, well, I'm gonna do this, I'm gonna take care of you, I'm gonna show you the world. And then, you know, the woman would listen to the man tell them these things. Well, you know, I'll give you the whole world if you do this and do that. And then these women give in and end up getting pregnant by these so-called men. And so, you know, but I want to give two scriptures. Paul points out in 1 Corinthians chapter 7. You know, he says, concerning things that were wrote unto me, he says, for it is good for a man not to touch a woman. And he explains in a lot of verses the reason why it's not good. It's because it will lead to fornication. So Paul, everyone doesn't have the gift that Paul had. You know, Paul can do without a woman, you know, and for him to make that statement, that says that he has overcome things that most men would struggle with, the flesh. Paul, you know, he can do it out there. He has that spiritual gift. And that's why he says that, you know, he's addressing that to say, hey, you know, there are many that doesn't have the gift and can be able to do without, you know, as I. So Paul referring to himself as someone who doesn't need a woman in his life because of his commitment to God. You know, that's the choice that he made. Not saying that a man, you know, I mean, you can have balance, you know, you can have a wife, you know, vice versa, and still be committed to God. It's just a little bit more challenging than what Paul has committed himself to, you know, he wanted to be fully committed and devoted to God without any distractions, you know. And it's not an impossibility that you can't do it. You know, there are saints here that are doing it, you know, like Stephen for one. You know, he's preaching, faithful, you know, and still married. And so it is possible. But you have to have that balance to do that, you know. It is possible. But the other scripture I wanted to give is Hebrews 13:4. It says marriage is honorable in all. The bed undefiled for homeowners and adulterers God will judge. So the bed remains undefiled when you are married to your spouse. And it's acceptable to God, and the sex is clean to God as long as it's done in marriage. But what God will have a problem with is if the bed becomes defiled, the sheets are dirty when two bodies are clinging together and they're not, that there's no marriage involved. Exactly. God has a problem with that because that's when it becomes fornication, you know, shacking, living together, and not being married. So, you know, that's what Jessica was pointing out to me earlier. She said, yeah, that's not good. So I was giving those scriptures in reference to what she was telling me earlier about that. So.
Thank you, Kevin. God bless you. And you know, we don't want to bring this brother Frias. We want to make sure we understand something, brethren, is that we don't want to roll this all on women. Men are emotional too. Men want to be loved. You know, you got some guys that's something wrong with them. But, you know, it's like men want to be loved too. That's why they leave marriages and get other women, because they do want to be loved. God bless you, my brother. And we need to understand something. You know, emotions are normal. Jesus wept. Jesus felt sorrow for people. He felt joy. So we have to understand is that men like to hold hands too. They like to hug. They like to eat popcorn. So we can't make that. And I know we're not. I'm just saying some men make it like it's something wrong with a woman because she want to be hugged. I like to be hugged too. The problem is when you find people don't like to be loved, that person is, and I want to make sure I make this clear, that person is getting love from some other woman. I'm going to say this. Somebody holding hands, somebody taking care of their business. Whether it's a male or a female, that brother getting some love from somebody. If he's not asking you for love or talking to you about communion. Because something wrong with that brother. Because you try to kiss a man he don't want to kiss, there's something, brother, something wrong with you. Because that's not like old women need cut. That's life, man. That's love. Solomon is a man. He's talking about hugging and kissing. This dude got more women than you can count if you saw them in a group without lining them up. This dude not gay. This dude is a man, but he wants to be loved. He wants to be hugged. So what we're saying is that men need to understand their mind. It's not no catering to no woman just because she wants to be loved. You should want to be loved, because I'm telling you now, it's a fact that this brother getting love from somebody, or he gay. Either way, he getting love from somebody, because you don't live with your spouse and I want to be touched and hugged. Nah, that ain't about your daddy. Your daddy not your woman. I'm not about your daddy and hug. You know, you got a woman want to hug you. Now, something is wrong with you if you don't want a woman hugging you. Something wrong with you. Somebody hugging you, because we're designed to be loved. So it ain't always got to be splayed a certain way, hold hands. I'm not making that specific. But you don't want to be loved. You want to be next to no woman. Man, there's something wrong with you. And see, your woman going to pick up on that, and she going to eventually exit on you. And God going to punish you, because that is what the book says people in love do. They embrace. That's a teaching in Psalm. They embrace, they kiss, they hug, they love. They talk nice to each other. They don't call each other names. If your marriage is different, you need some counseling. Something is wrong with your marriage. I don't care how long you've been married. I knew people in my family was married and they had kids all over the country, man. They stay married till they die. I don't mean because you married long that you righteous. Go ahead, Brother Frias.
I just want to look at some scriptures, you know, in the book of Genesis, chapter number 2. It says, and the Lord God said, it is not good that the man should be alone. I will make him a help meet for him. He uses the same word good in 1 Corinthians 7, verse 8. He says, I say therefore to the unmarried and widows, it is good for them to, if they abide, even as I. So he uses that word good for a man to not be alone, and then he used that word good for them to be alone. So is he contradicting? No, he says, but if they cannot contain, let them marry, for it is better to marry than to burn. So when it comes to the scriptures in Timothy, 1 Timothy 5, verse 21, he says, I charge thee before God. This is a charge before God and the Lord Jesus Christ and the elect angels, that thou observe these things without preferring one before another, doing nothing by partiality. That word preferring is defined as G4299. That is a prejudgment. Prefer one before another, a prejudgment. And it's also described partiality, G4346, a leaning towards. So when it comes to the whole counsel of God, you have to lean towards the whole counsel concerning the person. Like Paul, he's saying it is good if they abide even as I.
Amen.
He's not saying it's bad if he said they can contain. But when it comes to Paul, he already mentioned in 1 Corinthians 9, verse 5, have we not power to lead about our sister or wife, as well as other apostles, and as the brethren of the Lord and Cephas. So Paul was the type of man, he could remain single, or he could be married to a wife. He could do either one. He says, I could take a wife if I want to.
That's right.
So when it comes to verse 32, but I would have you without carefulness. He that is unmarried, care for the things that belong to the Lord, how he may please the Lord. So when it comes to, if you've been married since you were 20 or 25, and you are being partial with the doctrine of Christ and only pushing towards the doctrine of married, and are omitting the part of the gospel where Paul is preaching concerning it's also good to be alone. If you don't have that burn, that's also that needs to be taught, because what happens is you get configured to the point where, well, I've been married when I was young, so this guy, so everybody has to be. So that's where you become your own God, and you omit the part of the new covenant that Jesus died for, to provide for those, because it mentions good in 1 Corinthians 7, it mentions good in Genesis. So it depends on the person when it comes to them, because there was multiple people, whether it be Joseph, during his teenage years, he was tempted, he neglected, he said no to it, and then he was married, I think, in his 30s. So when it comes to his lifetime, he got married afterward at his 30s. Now, Paul doesn't show he got married, but he said, I can contain, but at the same time, I could get married at the same time too. So there's these characters still exist in his lifetime. And so we have to preach all the oracles without preferring one before another, so each soul can get exactly the medicine, the dosage that is needed from the Lord, because God made all men. He also gave his covenant to us to be applied in the area that each saint needs it for.
Well said. Preacher God, bless you. Man, it's been good. You know, the thing about this, brethren, is that we have to understand a eunuch, we need to make sure we see also, Brother Frias has pointed out a lot of things that we need to keep our mind focused on. There's a person that's made a eunuch. This individual is a person that's like a person intersex. He's not going to have the components functioning like a normal, if he's the male or normal man. But the idea is that he still wants to be loved. That's what you all are talking about. Sex is not the only thing in a marriage. You have love and affection. So Jesus, when he pointed out it's good for the eunuch not to marry, because he's going to have trouble in the sexual category, not the love. The eunuchs needed love. They loved others. They loved Jeremiah. They said he shouldn't be in jail like that at the bottom in the dungeon. God loved the eunuch, and the eunuch needed love. He said this eunuch that got him out of jail, I want a song wrote about it. And that song is going to bring joy about he did something good. So a eunuch can get married. It may be difficult because of the sexual part, but he knows how to love. He knows how to hug. He knows how to be mean. He knows how to kill. He knows how to heal. He's a person. But the thing that people are confusing in relationship when we start talking about is they want to have sex before they're married. That's a gift for married people only. That's for married people only. To see nakedness. And that's where it's going to always be. And when you violate that, that's what we're talking about. Having sex. This is one of the things he mentioned. Fornication. As they fornicated, he said they failed. There are thousands of them that died for simply having sex. And this is not talking about fornication with a god, because he already talked about idolatry. This was sexual fornication. They acted a fool in the wilderness and throughout the land, having sex and not being married. God has never told a person to have sex and not be married. How does he show it from the beginning? It's not good for the man to be alone. This is for a married dude, though. He gives him a wife. But everybody don't need a wife to not be alone. They might need a friend to not be alone. But Adam needed a wife. That's the difference in them. So he didn't bring him a buddy. He didn't bring him a friend. He could have brought a friend, and then that friend could have been given a woman. God could have did any way he want. So you can't make it like Brother Frias said. You can't make it, okay, now, well, you know, Adam is not good to be alone, but that's what a married dude, a dude who burns with passion and can't contain himself. But you got people in the church that can't contain themselves, and they're having sex. Really, I'm waiting on the right person. No, you need to go on and get married. And here's a problem, like Brother Craig said. If you meet somebody and 2 weeks later you having sex, how come you didn't get married 2 weeks later? See, this is the hypocrisy, brother. You don't just meet somebody and get married. Well, you don't just meet somebody and have sex either. You would do better meeting somebody in a bar, if that's where you went, than having sex with them that night. Then you do better going and taking them and getting married that night. God will bless you for taking them and going and get married, but he cannot bless you having sex with them that night. See, that's what we're not accept. When Rachel first sees Isaac, he can't get around the story. Boom. He married Rebecca. When Isaac sees Rebecca, they get married. You do better doing that than having sex, because there's no, Kevin read the text, there's no damnation in marriage. There's no damnation in marriage. The bed is over. You see, but this is what people say, you be stuck with it for the rest of your life. You're stuck with that sin of fornication for the rest of your life. If you just thought you was going to have sex and play with God, and he was just going to say, I'm sorry. And so, no, sin is not removed by you saying, I'm sorry. Sin is removed when God sees, okay, your heart has changed. Your heart don't change just because you ask God you sorry. And you playing God like, okay, well, I had sex, I can always tell him I'm sorry. No, see, that's not what God teaches. It doesn't get removed that way. And we know that, brother. And this is why we're warning the saints that God says you're going to fall just like your forefathers fell for fornication. That's one of the many things he mentioned. So with that thought in mind, God bless you all. It's been a great study. We appreciate all that everybody has brought forward. And we thank the Lord for the opportunity to speak on these things. At this particular time, we will stop our lesson. We will get, if we will, Brother Kevin, can you dismiss us in a prayer?